All right, I knocked it off. No more triple dot dick move.
Okay.
I'm Pat.
Hey, Pat, I'm Jeffrey.
We're back.
Were we gone?
I don't know. I didn't feel good. Actually, dude, I had a screaming headache for about 3 days. Just this, migraine thing going on. And it's finally a little bit better, probably within the last, 4 hours. So, I feel pretty good.
Did you have it the last time I saw you?
No.
Oh.
No. Okay, so I guess it hasn't been 3 days. I think it started up on Friday. So, yeah. Or, yeah, it was either Thursday night or Friday.
Yeah?
So, yeah, it's just not good. So, I was dizzy as fuck. So, I think I actually do have that. They say they have vestibular migraines. So, because I don't know if this is how it works with your mom, with her vertigo, but mine is it will come and go. So, and sometimes when it comes, it just comes, man. So, and it hangs around for a couple days.
I don't know with her. It's so nebulous. Sometimes it sounds like she has it, nonstop. Other times it seems like it's more or less severe. I have no idea. I would venture to say, I can only apply certain amounts of science here, but given all the battery of tests that she's gone through, I can't... Since they can't pin it down, and the only thing that I can look at here is in terms of variables, is when you basically go from sea level, which is where she lives right now, to over a mile high, basically, right? I would imagine that if I were to guess at anything, and again, I'm not a scientist, I'm not, anything like this. I'm sure they've checked this, but the only thing I can think of is there's some kind of problem with basically oxygenation in her blood.
Maybe.
I have no idea. I feel like that would have been the first thing they'd check. After basically running down and saying all right, put your head in the machine. We're going to look for stuff, right? And if you don't find it, then you say all right, so you tell me that this behaved differently in different locations, elevations? It's okay. Interesting. Right? But I imagine that's been checked a million times over, so I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Oxygenation is absolutely positively the first thing they checked with me.
That's what I would think.
And every time I go back to anybody, they check that. So they're like, you're fine. You're fine.
It was the first thing they did, put that stupid thing on your finger. And
oh, yeah. Well, I've done that one. I've done the breathing test, too. So,
okay. Yeah.
Or breathing the tube. So it's
all
right. So.
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't want to take any further. I've spent my time, over the past, decade or so that she's been suffering with this, contemplating every, possibility. I'm just okay, found nothing. So you have it.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
I'm down to one last thing that I can try. So, and I'm going to try that in 2 weeks. So, and that's the dreaded sleep test.
What, the one you have to stay awake for?
No, the one that you have to go somewhere and sleep overnight. It's when they hook you up to all the machines.
Well, yeah, you have to stay awake before then, though.
Oh, have you done one?
No, I knew a guy that did, though.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. They didn't say anything about that, but they haven't called me about it yet either.
Okay.
I don't know, but my impression was that you go and you hang out for a little bit and then you go to bed. And then if you stop breathing, they wake you up.
Well, are they going to put the electrodes on you or no? This may be something different.
No, they're going to do all that stuff. So,
okay, all right.
Yeah, they do. Not the EKG thing, whatever. So.
Well, that's something else.
They're not testing my brain.
They're not testing your brain?
Not for no. This is to whether or not I have apnea. So, which I guarantee I probably have, but because my dad had it real bad. So,
I don't know if that's hereditary or not. It stands to reason.
There's a lot of things that are hereditary that you kind of hope aren't. Everything cancer being one of them.
There's that, or a certain susceptibility to it, I should say. Dude,
I'm 100% going to get cancer. Both my parents had it. My mom had it twice. I'm totally going to get it. I expect it. So...
You might not.
I might get lucky and not get it.
Well, what I can tell you is I know that our fathers, for example, were exposed to certain things that I know they decided was kind of a big deal and didn't expose kids to in our age.
Yeah, I think my dad's was hereditary because both my aunt and my grandmother died from cancer. So he's got a 100% coverage there. So we don't know what my grandfather died from because he was a loser and nobody knew him.
Wow.
So yeah. So, but he died young. He died in his 50s. So, my understanding is that he had a rather hard, a substance-ridden existence.
A particular substance, or?
Yeah.
So, like Coke, or what?
No. My understanding is that the man could tie one off.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was a drinker.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was also a firefighter, so I do know that.
Okay, so now you're touching on something. That's something that they actually tell a lot of firefighters, that, like, you will get cancer.
Oh, yeah, that's possible. But we don't know if that's actually how he died. So
No, but
Yeah.
that's I hear that's something that they actually talk about, like, in the big cities where it's a municipal thing, like, expect to get cancer. It's like, it is what it is. 'Cause
Yeah.
buildings burn, there's a lot of things that are going to be in there. You will get exposed to them one way or the other.
Yep.
No matter how much we try.
Yeah.
And they actually say that fires burn much hotter now than they used to, yeah.
Because they don't use all the retardant in the construction process?
It's not that, it's electronics. It's, yeah.
That I'd believe. I've seen that with electric cars, man. Holy shit.
Gets hotter.
Dude, I see. Yeah, there's this guy that I watch, and he's a maritime guy, and so he, like, if you want to know what's going on in the world in terms of like merchant marining, he's kind of my go-to
I don't,
guy.
but
I know, but it's cool
though. It's cool that you do.
Hey, man, he's a good guy.
No.
His channel's cool, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna sub to you, and I've been watching it for 2 years now. So yeah, but yeah, he does like these ship disasters. So whenever there's like a ship disaster,
Like famous ones, or
no, just like there's like disasters every week. So I mean, that dude's been pumping out videos every 2 days thanks to the fucking Houthis. So
okay.
and stuff.
Right.
But still, he did this one on this car carrier that was loaded with electric vehicles, and it just burnt to the ground.
Wait, in the water, or
Yeah. Actually, it was in port. It was in China. So yeah,
okay.
it just burnt right down to the keel. So because the fire was so hot. So they couldn't do anything. So it was just like, yeah, this one's cooked. So, and I've heard that too on like Tesla's getting stuck in tunnels and shit and starting a fire. So and they're just like, the only thing you can do is just get everybody out. So because eventually it's just got to burn itself out.
I would think so. I would imagine, again, I don't know the facts on this. I'm certain that there's a preferred way to put those kind of fires out, but I have no idea.
So I was asking my brother about this because he has one. So and he was saying they actually have to do this immersion thing where they have to basically take your car and dump it underwater. So
they drown it.
Yeah.
drown it.
So
Okay,
yeah, they got to
yeah.
kill all the
They
oxygen.
drown. Okay, yeah.
So
I imagine that there's probably compounds that you could put under there that kill the oxygen as well, but I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I did see that actually happened at a hangar in an Air Force base somewhere not too long ago. I think it was down in Georgia. I think it was an Air Force base. So they have those. So when they have planes parked in the hangar, they have the foam jets that come from the ceiling in case there's a fire. It just foams the whole thing out. So I saw pictures. I didn't realize it fills the fucking hangar with foam.
Like to the top.
Like to the top. Yeah, like where it's coming out of the fucking stovepipes on the top.
Jesus
of the
Christ!
thing.
I thought it like I thought it got down and all, but I didn't think...
It hits the ground and it expands, and it just literally...
Oh, it's that shit. Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, my dad had told me about that when I was a kid, because he worked in the hangar out at the Air Force Base. So, but I didn't realize he meant that it fills the hangar. I thought it was like, you know, it gets all over every corner and something, you know, like that. Like, you know, good coverage.
Sure.
I didn't realize that it fills it up like a fucking Twinkie. You know?
I mean, that makes perfect sense.
It does, yeah. So unless you're in that hangar, what happens?
Because that seems like the kind of thing that I'll bet those... You remember the Lebanon explosion?
Oh, yeah.
I'll bet you that's the shit they wish they fucking had in that...
in
that place.
Yeah. I saw a whole video on that, and like, you know, like a comprehensive
like a post-mortem?
breakdown, yeah,
Oh, okay.
of all the kind of like bureaucratic fuck-ups that were going on, because it was a Russian ship. So
Yeah, were the levels of fuck-uppery, like, at every level, at every, like, possible level.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it was an international pissing match between...
Yeah.
So, and then some of it had to do with, well, they couldn't let it transit up to the Black Sea, and then the Russian owner basically said, "Oh, what ship? I don't own a ship."
Right.
You know? And so the crew was trapped on it for like months. So, and then finally they just abandoned it. They just basically hopped ship and left. And so the Lebanese government had to figure out what the fuck to do with it, but they were still trying to get payment.
Yeah.
So, or something like that. So they just shoveled all that shit in a warehouse and stacked it up. And then some people had said, that's really dangerous. And they were like, well, yeah, but this thing is further away than most of the other things. So, you know, it's all we kind of have. And then it went kablooey. And then 15 minutes later, it went nuclear. Yeah. And then blasted out all the windows on a certain side of Lebanon. So, I mean, and that video was great because it had so many different cell phone.
It did.
Footages of like angles of it and stuff like that, and then videos of the aftermath. It was just like, wow, man. So that's what Timothy McVeigh was trying to do. So, but
that's hard to do in one van.
Well, he thought it would. I mean, but still did a pretty good job. So
exemplary, but I mean, I'm not. It's certainly it's not the payload that a ship would have. So I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
And again, this is not to endorse bombing, but I'm just saying that given okay. Are we past the point where people could park a Ryder truck like that at that point and people would be like, nah, it's fine? Or do we have protocols now where it's like, that's gotta go?
Kind of, but like everything's UPS van now and stuff like that. So having a truck parked in front of a building, even with a running engine, isn't really that.
That's my thing.
I mean, like federal buildings, they're all protected by those bollards and stuff. You've seen those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question would be, at this point, could somebody do that again easily?
Probably. Yeah, I don't see what would stop you.
This is what I don't know. I wonder if possibly there's
Plus, you're stupid enough to Google it. So then they're on you, man.
You say that, but like with this Georgia thing, the shooting they had there.
I don't know anything about that. You got to fill me in.
Well,
I mean, is it just another school shooting, or is there something? Is there a twist?
There are some twists. Things that the incompetencies at multiple levels. Let me just say it this way. Okay, so I'm going to put aside the identity of the shooter because that's going to look. This is
of course, it's always a thing.
Well, it's another trans advocate. So
was he gay?
Trans.
Oh, he was trans. The kid was trans.
That's the look. He's got a lot of pro-trans stuff. Basically, this is. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Okay, all right, yeah. We don't know.
It was just like 2 days ago that they released the Audrey Hale manifesto from the previous.
That's the Tennessee one.
Yeah,
Isn't that like 2 years old now?
Yes, crazy.
Yeah, okay.
That was they camped on it for stupid reasons. But
Well, wasn't it because she was a minor?
no,
Oh, I thought it was.
it wasn't. It turns out that the judge, I don't know how she made this judgment, but basically said it was like a copyright infringement, which was absolutely insane. I'm like, I don't know how the fuck you came up with this. But anyway, that got leaked because it was not done via release. But supposedly that's the identity, though they'll go back and forward. What happened was, this is a person, again, you've heard this phrase before, it was on the FBI's radar. Calls came in day before, morning of, saying, watch out for this.
To who?
To the school itself.
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, so there were multiple warnings that this shit was going to happen.
How'd they know about it?
It's recorded.
Well, no. How did? So the people who were calling in, how did they know about it?
Oh, that I can't tell you.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
So it wasn't like friends or something, or.
It absolutely was, but I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these were people that were somewhat close to the source.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so they did the right thing. They let people know in advance, and they took no extra precautions.
The school didn't?
Nope.
Did they call the police?
Nope.
Oh. Huh.
Nope. That's why it's weird.
It is weird.
So there's some.
Man, I mean, like, that's happened a couple times around here, man, and fucking schools go bananas.
Yeah, just the threat of anything like that, and it goes fucking nuts.
Well, kind of, but it's also like, I don't know, man. There's, like, so I've been through it in finals week where people do weird bullshit and stuff like that, to get out of school. So, I mean, like, some of our systems mysteriously go down.
It can happen.
Yeah, I know, but... So it's also you got to be a little judicious with with those things, but I wonder how many threats they get. Is it a suburban school or an urban school or?
It was in Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah. Now Atlanta is it's like here, so it's like what part of Atlanta that I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
It could be
a country unto itself. So
it's
yeah.
So. Nope, I got you there. But yeah, that's again, it's the same kind of like.
And how many people? It was 4 people, I think I saw.
I think you're right.
It could have an AR.
I don't remember specifically what weapon they used.
Yeah, I saw that come across the. Sorry, man. It's just like school shootings. It's like whatever. So that's sad, but it's also like okay.
Well, I did the math on it the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes down to a question of exposure, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
Because I broke down the numbers, okay, and so the likelihood of a school shooting on any given day impacting you or one of your own, what would you guess the percentage is?
You have a better chance of getting struck by lightning.
I don't know if it's greater than that.
That's about 1 in 57,000. So yeah.
Okay, so the
or 1 in 75,000.
Percentage is 0.00177.
Okay, so it's less than that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's less than 1 in like 10 million.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Now that being said, it still happens
on any given day, though.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct. Because I would ask you this. Because I did this with 2023's numbers, right? How many total school shooting incidents? Okay, now this includes mass shootings. This includes gangs. It includes whatever. How many school shooting incidents happened in the entirety of 2023 in the United States?
I'm gonna say 2,000.
364.
Okay, that's a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
364.
364, including gang violence?
Total. Yep.
That's pretty good.
That's incredibly good.
Yeah.
But that being said, if you think about it, okay, with the news
Are
as
these
it is,
fatalities or
just shootings.
Okay. So yeah. Okay.
Now I'm going to presume
364. That's really low. That's lower than I thought.
It's way lower than you think. But if you turn it around and say like, all right, but how many days are in a school year? Now, about 170. Mm-hmm. So if you break it down, you say, holy shit, that means there's 2 a day.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is...
Yeah, but almost like 90% of those are going to be, individual v individual rather than mass events.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
I mean, we count so many things as what we consider a mass casualty event now.
There's a rule for it. Because there's
more than two. Yeah.
That's where they draw the distinction between like mass shooting and like spree shooting and I know it's dumb and it's the reason that say like a McVeigh kind of incident is classified
domestic terrorism.
Because it's like one incident. Right, versus that kind of says it's not
a one-off.
Yeah. I don't remember the distinctions. I was like, this seems kind of like pedantic, but I'm like, all right, I get it because you have to classify these. I mean, you charge them differently, I imagine.
I don't know about that. I mean, it depends on the state laws and the federal laws, and
probably
it's such a quilt work of stuff that
Yeah.
I mean, each one is going to be kind of a discrete event in terms of how the law is applied, but. Like, I know. Well, that's the whole thing. That's how they the feds didn't kill McNick, or what was his, Terry Nichols?
Oh, in Ruby Ridge?
No, he was the guy who helped McVeigh.
Yeah.
So the feds killed McVeigh.
It was Nichols, but I don't know if it was.
So McVeigh was killed by the feds because he pleaded no contest. So, and they said, well, this means we're going to kill you. And he was like, yeah. So, and they did. But then that was like the first federal execution that had taken place in a long time. So
he's a fine candidate.
He was an excellent candidate.
Yes.
A bona fide, upstanding young Nazi.
He's a credit to his people.
He's a credit to his people, I guess. And then, but Nichols actually pled, and so the feds didn't. They sentenced him to life, but then I think it might have been Oklahoma that actually wound up killing him. So because it was a state, there was also state charges in there too. So because he got the needle too. So eventually, it took a while, but eventually they got him. So. So yeah, I don't know how those things are charged. I mean, the feds will like lather on just about any charge that they can. So
yes,
and then like and a lawyer friend of ours was actually explaining this to me a while ago. It's like basically there are no such thing as misdemeanor felony or federal charges. They're almost all at the felony level. I didn't know that. So can't get a federal parking ticket, kind of thing. So they're almost all felony level classified events. So if you get rung up with any federal charges, it's basically felonious. So I didn't know that. So
you're right. I think they almost all are, except for like there's like because like if you trespass on like a federal building, I think there's like a misdemeanor version of that.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
Like it's in the same thing like say for example, because I think that came up in Seattle.
Oh, with the courthouse? Yeah,
I
maybe.
think that came up in Seattle.
Right,
yeah, because like the thing was because trespass is not a huge.
Well, no, not unless you're trying to freaking run on the Area 51.
That is clearly marked. That is
clearly marked. Yeah.
That place is marked like I say the border should be marked.
Yeah,
like,
there actually probably are landmines there too.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they don't do that. I did find that out. So.
Okay, that's good.
There's actually a law that prevents the military from putting landmines on U.S.
domestic soil.
Yeah.
Which is why, Patrick, you remember that's why I say we recede the border.
Well, we'd have to take from Mexico, in order to actually have that now. So, because if you cede it, okay, but you still occupy it, okay, meaning that you control it, so you got dudes going out there and putting landmines. It's not like, you could get it designated as a DMZ, but then you're not allowed to put landmines in it. That's kind of the point behind having a DMZ.
I know one that does.
Do they have landmines in the DMZ?
In the DMZ?
I don't know.
I can't prove that they don't.
Well, I guarantee you there's landmines on that side of the DMC. I don't know about this side, but
I would guess that the side that people are fleeing to probably doesn't have the landmines.
Probably not. No.
Probably doesn't. It probably has. It probably has a couple of areas where it's like really grippy for shoes to make you run a little bit faster, and
they put down grit.
And a couple of those boxes that if you open them up, they give you like turtle shells and banana peels and shit like that.
Yeah, I want the 4x speed one.
To chase off your enemies with, but I don't know.
Mario.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah, that's news to me. So.
But I would also say that most likely. So remember, I treat illegals as combatants.
Yeah, I know. You take a very hard stance on this. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right. Follow the procedure. There are entrance gates for processing.
Yep.
That's it. That's just how it goes. And if you try to cross in these undesignated areas, you're an invader.
Those are the. What are the two classifications? There's give-ups and getaways.
Oh, right.
So the getaways are the ones that you classify as enemy
hostile combatants.
Hostile combatants.
Yes. That's very simple. It's you know the rules. And the same thing goes like with if you are trying to speedboat your way into this country, you will be fired upon.
They do that all the time.
Yeah,
actually. So
that's cool to do that, protecting our ocean borders, but
that is something that you can find on the Telegram. So is unauthorized video of the Coast Guard opening up on fucking cigarette boats. So it does exist.
Sorry, man. It's that simple.
They do give you fair warning.
Oh.
So they say
exactly
you will be fired upon. You will be. They do it in like multiple languages too, and then you get warning shots. So
yeah, but they'll stop missing eventually.
Oh yeah. They're waiting for you not to stop. Yeah. So just like Houthi missiles, is like, please let that be an actual missile.
That's what I'm saying. Is you have to. And again, I know that there's enough psychopaths that would want to do that job.
Yeah, but not enough that. Yeah, I mean, it'd still be professional. Yeah.
You dissuade a small amount of people, that shit's gonna stop.
Oh, I don't know, man.
If you leave... No, because when they come out there, and when they see coyotes eating the fucking, like, exploded carcasses, right? You see that enough times, you're like,
This is not the version of America I like, man.
It's just that part of America.
I don't want any part of America to be like that. No, please, no.
I get it. I get it. It's not...
I don't want it that way. I don't know, man. So I wish they would just get together and kind of fix the laws. Again, it's not an issue that I understand terribly well. So, it's not one that I have much contact with. It's not one that I've had much interest in the past to actually, like, dive into the nuance. I mean, I watched all those things done by that bald guy on YouTube who went down there with all the sheriffs, and those are actually pretty enlightening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. So, and then he talked to, some Catholic priests down there who were helping people over, and then he helped talk to, some of the NGO people down there. But then he'd go and he'd talk to actual, like, people who live down there, too. So, how they, like, used to be peaceful parts of Texas, and they're now terrifyingly not. Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I mean, they put 20,000 Haitians in an Ohio city.
Yeah.
For example, okay, so this happened today, or at least that the reports came out. the missing cat was hanging from a branch being carved up for food. This is what I'm talking about. They're catching the ducks.
Who, the Haitians?
Yes.
In Ohio?
Yes.
Oh, to eat them?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. This is
Is that a cultural thing, or is that because they're starving?
Well, okay, yes and yes. I mean, because
I don't know.
Your culture either eats cats or it doesn't.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Right. That's the thing. You're either people that eat named house pets or you're not. And again, this is the kind of stuff that this should be like cut and dry. Okay, this should be like cut and dry, where it's like, again, going back to our little situation that we have over here. Okay, in Aurora.
Yeah, what's the story with that lately?
The story is the higher ups in the government are saying like it doesn't exist, but it exists. There's like,
is Polis saying that?
I think Polis did.
Oh, okay. He says it's just not a thing.
They're saying this is totally overblown.
Well, that's different than it being a thing. So,
well, they're agreeing that it's a thing.
Okay.
Right, but there's basically, I mean, they have evidence of what they're saying is like the owner of this place. They have evidence of these guys basically saying like he's either going to turn it over to us, we're going to fill him with bullets.
Okay.
I mean, that's enough.
Yeah.
You don't need anything else to go out there and say like sweep it clean.
So who's not doing that?
You got me.
Yeah, okay. I'd like to know who that is.
This is a like a New York thing. Okay, they put these numbers out. 3 out of 4 of their crimes right now are from illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
Right. Here's the thing: is they can't. They
violent crimes or all crimes?
Basically everything.
Oh, okay.
Right. So 3 out of 4 of their crimes happening right now are from these people, and they can't get rid of them. Right, that's the thing.
New York's got that fucked up law.
Right,
yeah.
They cannot contact ICE or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So there are cops on there saying like, "We can't do it. Our hands are tied."
Yeah,
well, literally, our hands are tied.
Yeah,
and this is what I'm talking about. Is like this is cut and dry shit. This is a failed experiment. This is stupid.
Yeah,
right. The process you're doing on this here, okay, this political move that you said like, "Hey, look at us. Look at how cool we are." Well, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah, but everybody uses the border as a fighting stick. So, I mean, like, so Dan Crenshaw had a really good video on this maybe like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know what you think of that guy, but...
The one-eyed man?
Representative Snake.
Go on.
So, he just had this like really kind of like fucking throw my hands up kind of thing because he's like, look, if I try and put together something that's bipartisan on this, it gets shot down by both sides. If I take it to one side, it gets shot down by the other side.
Yeah.
And if I take the thing to whichever side has the majority, they don't want to do it because they want to use it as a running issue to actually maintain the majority. He says, I've seen this when Congress has been held by either party.
Correct. Yeah.
So, and he's just like, it's just something that is absolutely unfixable without legal reform. But you need the legal form to go through Congress, otherwise it's not real. Otherwise, it just goes from presidency to presidency, and even then, he was explaining how limited the president's authority is on this shit. Okay, so because like there's a million ways around any kind of executive order. Okay, you can always put a stay on it, and any court whose jurisdiction is affected by that can do that. And he was just like, it's just one of those things where 90% of what goes on the border is talk, and then the other 10% is pain felt by people who live along the border.
Right.
So and yeah, and so like I mean, you can see some of the cities starting to roll back some of their sanctuary policies. I mean, it's funny that this shit's taking place in Aurora, which isn't a sanctuary city. So
it's not.
It's not even Democrat, man. So but it just happens to live next to a city that is much, much smaller than it is, and serves as a destination.
Well, and as you said, it's this is the thing that you're absolutely right on. Is it's that area. It's not it's not the city of Aurora that is overrun by that.
No.
It's that area.
It's one specific stretch along Arapahoe.
But that's the thing is if you know where it is, go get them.
Yeah, I don't know why the Aurora PD isn't doing that. Yeah. Because, I mean, if there's, like, crimes that are taking place, I mean, a local prosecutor there would have every authority to actually overrule whatever the governor says. So...
you know, and I guess that would be the thing, is if they challenge me on anything, it's like, go ahead. We'll have this fight.
This one out. Yeah.
We'll have this fight. Yeah. I'm doing what I think is best for the community, and if you want to be the guy that says, you guys are free to go
I wonder if the mayor up there is up for election this fall.
My understanding is the mayor is part of the problem.
The mayor in Aurora or in Denver?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Both.
Yeah.
Both. Because evidently they're both kind of blowhards.
I don't know that much about Denver's mayor, so I don't even know who it is right now.
You know what? Here's the thing. I've seen the name enough times that I'd recognize it, but I couldn't recite it from you. Like, I don't
know who it is.
I couldn't pick the fucking dude out of a lineup.
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, I used to, like... So I lived there when Hickenlooper was in charge. So
that's true, yeah.
He was
you
fine.
know. Yeah.
And then the guy before him... I can't remember him either.
Was there a girl in there?
I don't think so. There might have been for a few years. Might have been after I left, though. I've been out of there for a long time. So, because Hickenlooper's been in the Senate for at least 2 terms now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. So, Denver is a different place than it used to be, though. So, yeah, I went up to downtown Denver, in July?
Yeah?
Yeah, for a Rockies game.
Oh, yeah.
And downtown Denver, right there on Blake, it's fucking Mordor. Nah, it's not as bad as Mordor, but, you know.
Oh.
Actually, dude, I went over to the fucking Taco Bell the other night. Over here.
Yeah?
I saw my first guy in the throes of fucking, fentanyl.
Oh, use? Oh.
Yeah, I saw the first guy that I ever seen.
Oh, my.
And it was like everybody's like in the checkout line looking at this dude who's just like writhing on the ground. There's a couple other people over there standing by him, you know, and stuff. And it was just God. I know, man. It was like, fuck, man. I was hoping I'd never have to see that. And then there it was right there in the Taco Bell drive-thru. So.
Jesus.
And he had like no pants. So. I mean, he had pants, but they were split from like the pockets all the way down to the cuffs. So his legs are just like flapping, you know.
Delightful.
And his legs are probably like this big around, like not even summer sausage.
Just take whatever the bone is and right, put the bare minimum of packaging around it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and it was just like one of those things like, what the fuck, man? Really? So, I'd never seen that, man. I mean, I've seen people that it's like, yeah, you probably are on that, you know, but I'd never seen someone who's like, yep, you got the itis.
Yeah, that's the thing. I saw way more meth people than I ever saw.
My understanding is that almost everybody who is meth head has basically transitioned over to that because it's so much fucking cheaper. So,
wouldn't surprise me. I mean, when it comes to, actually, that's not all right. So, maybe we don't even count this anymore, but obviously I've seen more stoners than anything else. That should be
stoners. Dude,
that's passe. Yeah.
Stoners serve me beer at the yacht club.
Yeah,
that's
okay. All right. So we're not even going to pretend that that's a.
They bring me my DoorDash. It's fine. It's not even a thing. Nobody even says stoner anymore. So. You might as well call somebody a poser.
Jesus Christ. I was explaining this to the people at the vet's office, right? I was like, I was explaining, we were talking about different places we grew up, right? And it just so happened that the doctor, she was from a place I knew, Rockford, Illinois, because I had friends that came from there, right?
I know Rockford.
You know Rockford?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Why do you know it?
My aunt's from Aurora out there, and then lived in Naperville, so Rockford's just down the... It's pretty far down, but it's down there.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we're just kind of like talking about like the different like high school experiences. Like, I don't want to say generation by generation, but I was like, okay, so here's how it was for my group, right? And it was pretty similar because a few of them went to high schools, here and stuff too. But it was like, but it was not like that for the generation before mine, right? And just give it like 5-10 years, and there's the distinction where you were part of a group, and you were not part of the other groups, and you were a rocker, you were a stoner, you were a waver. Right, I was going
I don't even
through
know what a waiver is.
a new waiver. It's
that one escaped my attention back then.
Totally fine, right? Look, and then those categories still kind of like went around, but there was no like, but we don't talk to them, right? It was just your part. It's just how you dressed, really, more than anything else, right? Versus, like nowadays, everybody wears this kind of like kitchen stew of clothing.
You can wear whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, it's just this. There is no set like uniform for grunge guys. There's no set uniform for.
Absolutely not. It's what you feel like that day.
That's it. Now they all have that same god awful broccoli haircut. Got it. It is what it is. The guys do. Yes. Yeah. That should go. But
it's really popular, man. The broccoli haircut.
It's so fucking ugly. It's just like take the haircut of the ugliest dog you've ever seen and put it on every boy in high school. I'm like,
whenever I pick up my daughter, there's a bunch of them kids, man.
Broccoli kids, man. So many of them have it. But But it was like, and the distinction there was a big deal. And so back then, stoner was that's a group.
Stoner doesn't even exist anymore. They've gone extinct. So
you wouldn't call, dude. You would it'd be so weird if you saw people getting high as like fucking stoners.
Well, I still think that, but whatever. So
fucking burnouts. Yeah,
losers. No. Yeah, but I mean, you can't even tell anymore, man. So
okay, so those would obviously, that would be the top if we even counted it anymore. But you say that's off limits. So next for me would probably be meth. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much meth is still around here. I know who to ask, but no, I do.
No, I know you do, but it's that weird question of like, hey, just for research purposes.
Yeah. Hey. No, I know right now, like, Colorado is like so bifurcated in its drug markets, so you have your hardcore users, then you have your dedicated pot users.
Right.
So, and then you do have a lot of cartel here too. So, but they basically funnel drugs up to Denver. So,
right. They work that whole corridor, right?
Well, my understanding is that most of the fentanyl produced in Colorado, that is consumed in Colorado, is actually produced in Colorado. So it is.
Where?
Everywhere. It is way easier to actually set up, a manufacturing facility for that than it is to do a meth cook. So, from what I understand. No shit.
Okay, so somewhere in between here and like Cripple Creek, there's just somebody with a shop or something like that.
It's not even with somebody. It's like, there's probably a couple hundred guys who have a little thing going on in their kitchen, kind of thing.
It's that simple.
That's my understanding, is that it's not terribly hard to like either A, get the primal product and then find ways to cut it, or B, just make it. So, because it's actually just, my understanding is that there's only a couple of rare chemicals in it, and the rest of it is actually really common, like fucking industrial cleaner and shit like that.
Got it.
So, but I might be wrong about that.
So what's the, it was the methylamine that was the stuff that was hard to get in that. So what is the...
I couldn't tell you.
All right.
So.
Well, okay, because there hasn't been a Breaking Bad for fentanyl yet.
No, I don't think there will be, just because it's so fucking depressing.
So meth. Come on, man. You worked with those people, too.
I worked with a few people who were on meth that I couldn't tell they were on meth. So
there were ones that you could tell.
There were ones that I could tell, and I was very happy to fire them. So, yes. So,
yeah.
One kid in particular. So, we tried to get him for weeks. So...
Well, didn't you try to get him help, too?
Yeah, and we knew that he wasn't taking it, so then we were trying to get him. Yeah.
Anytime somebody gives you a way out on that, always take it, man. That's
It takes like an average of like 7 or 8 tries, so to actually get off. So that's with help.
That is with help. Yeah. That and I mean, it's a weird perception to get off of any kind of substance. It really is. Like people don't get it is just like once it's part of you, it's always part of you.
Mm-hmm. What's part of your history? That's for sure.
What's part of your history, but it's also you're forever changed from having been dependent on it.
Oh
right?
yeah.
And so that's one of those. You have to remember that for the you have to remember your past orthodoxies from there on out. And that sucks, and I can see why it's so difficult 6, 7, 8 times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know, and good for your company for trying to take care of people in that regard.
This is one good thing the union was doing. We'll give them credit for that.
Was there anything else that they did right?
No.
In your
No, there was not.
That's the like okay, like in terms of making sure that like dudes got clothes or things like that. Things.
Oh
that,
yeah, they got a pretty healthy allowance. They got a boot allowance every year. They got quite a bit of swag. They had really good insurance, so they had a lot of things like that. They have the best retirement that exists on the face of the fucking planet. So
yeah. See, I mean, I guess I can advocate for that.
I suppose, man, but in exchange for all of your health from your 20s to your 60s, so and all of the time that you would be spending with your children, at least a divorce or two, it's not worth it, man. And the whole reason why that all happens is because it's actually kind of a fun job to do. So,
that's sort of,
it'd be way easier just to pay people less and then just churn through them than it would be to actually keep people around. So,
I think my dad's Air Force career would have been way different if Will and I weren't born.
Probably. So.
I think he and my mom would have been. I think somewhere in the end they would have been like world traveling fucking like chocolate snobs. And so
you got her fucking title.
You gotta write that down.
You gotta write that down.
Okay.
Yeah, world traveling chocolate snobs.
You know what I'm talking. You've met people
I know.
You've met those that couple that they're both like 65.
Oh yeah.
And like they've been out of the country like 7 times this year.
Yeah.
You know?
I envy those people to a point. So
you nailed it. Yes, to a point.
To a point. So, and then once they hit that point, I realized, wow, that sucks. So, because I've known some world traveling chocolate snobs. So
they're a group, man. You know exactly who I'm talking about.
I've worked with a couple of them over the years, and I will tell you something that really sucks about world traveling chocolate snobs. So, is that eventually you hit 75 or 80.
Right.
And you got no friends.
Yeah.
You got nobody around you. So, because all your friends are world traveling chocolate snobs who are still doing the circuit. And yet
they're either younger than you and they're still doing it, or they're older than you, or they're dead. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's the transient lifestyle you chose.
Yeah, I've known a few people like that over the. I've worked with a few people like that over the years. I know current people like that who I can see their unfortunate future, which will have nobody visiting them in the nursing home.
Oh, that tough thing where it's like, look, man, you're interesting, but I don't need a crystal ball to read your future.
It's exactly that. Yeah, it's exactly that. So you spend all that money, all right, which means you're going to live in the state home.
Either that
after
or
you have to sell your house. I saw one of my mom's neighbors went through this. They were they were America traveling RV snobs. And which is a fine life, okay?
Yeah.
But you gotta be really careful about when to pull the pin on that one, man, because it happened to them where this lady's husband had a bad heart attack. Okay, couldn't drive anymore. Okay, and she wasn't comfortable driving the fucking Mammoth.
Did they have one of the?
They had a big one,
like one of the like
bus,
60,000, 75,000.
Oh, it was like $120,000.
Those are gorgeous.
They are, but they're depreciation machines.
Absolutely.
So and so if you sell your house to buy one of those and you run it into the ground, you're gonna run your entire retirement into the ground. And then when you get out, okay, it's like, ooh. Yeah, Medicare doesn't pay for that.
They don't. And you know what? I feel like some of those things, like when you look at that, those 120,000, like when you get up to that step, right?
Oh, yeah.
You are in like rapper territory where you're like,
Oh God!
the person who's going to buy
normal
this.
People have those things now.
They do.
Oh,
but
dude, yeah. Come on, man. So you want to go buy a brand new F-150, man? You're going to drop 70, 80 grand on just that now. So come on.
you can get a stripped down one for less.
You can. You know you won't though. Because we got 84-month loans now.
Right on. Okay, so yeah, all right. hey, we are living longer.
We are living longer.
It does make sense to have more extended term loans. But,
no, it doesn't.
Dude, I don't know what to tell you.
You get robbed.
Of course, that's how you get robbed. Look, there are people right now that thank God I don't need any of their services, but there are people right now that are getting fucking rooked by like Adobe of all things, where it's like, you know, oh, do you want to actually make some letters, you know, on this that don't look like shit? Okay, well, hey, instead of, you know, $700, you know, that it used to be to buy the whole thing, we're just gonna get you for like $14.99
a month. Yeah.
In perpetuity.
I can't stand that shit, man.
It's all of it, Patrick, all of it.
Tons of it. Yeah, it's just the model
All of
now.
it.
It's like income stream. How do you get mailbox money out of your customers? By providing shit services, but signing them up for a service. Dude, I'm even getting it with news articles now, man. I've had to pare down all my subscriptions down to bare bones, man. But now every time I go to free article sites, they're like, oh, is it okay if we send you notifications, Pat? I was like, wait a minute, if you're asking me that, you already put fucking cookies on my phone, motherfucker. So
How dare you speak to me so formally?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Fucking bullshit sites don't even like bother using the usted.
Oh, right, yeah, exactly. Not the formal y'all. Yeah.
I get it.
Can't stand it, man. And like even today, there was a couple articles that I was looking at while I was making dinner. Yeah, it's, you know, from like somewhat mainstream sources, but they were like, you know, here's your paywall. It was like, you've reached your 14 articles a month. I'm like, it's the fucking 8th. So you know, it's like, you got to be kidding me. So
well, then you realize how you got to that point. It wasn't stuff that you just looked for. Some of it was like they were linked off of other things you
absolutely.
Clicked on.
Yep. That happens all the time.
Yep.
So you either get linked or you get caught by something that's actually one of their articles and you don't realize it.
Yeah.
So, or something like that. I don't know, man. The Google News app is basically useless now. So
it's pointless.
It really is, Jeff. It is so like after you were explaining how the AI works the other night, I was like thinking about that a little bit, and I was just like, oh, this makes fucking sense. Now I understand why this is happening.
Were you kind of disgusted?
No, I wasn't disgusted. I was pissed off that I hadn't figured that out earlier. So that they were actually just taking they were just taking variables out of the regression, making their other ones seem that much more relevant. And it's like, that, you fuckers, that's a really... I mean, that's how you would do it, and I don't think it was necessarily by design. So, but it would be a self-perpetuating bullshit machine.
Well, here's the question.
Over time.
Yeah, exactly, because then you say, like, well, who ultimately makes these decisions, right? And you say, well, if we throw them out...
all of us, yeah.
If you throw them out over a wide enough, you know, spectrum, it should be theoretically diverse enough to give you...
Yeah, but it's not.
But it's not, because people go into certain fields. People go into certain, you know, professions that tend to have certain ages and certain, you know, persuasions. Yeah. And then, look, the it's been said, but this is not my quote, but I mean, this is the thing: is the diversity of ethnicity is nothing if you don't have diversity of thought, and that's been
around for a while.
No, that's not that's not mine. It's just absolutely not. But I mean, that's
there's actually
the thing
technical terms for those. It's called surface level diversity and deep level diversity.
Right.
So,
one is insulting. One is absolutely to me.
It is, but it's also important. Like, so I'm not going to completely go back on this because, like,
look, my dad straightened me out on this, and he was right.
What?
About the need for diversity a long time ago.
Okay.
I've told you about this, right?
Yeah, probably. I've just forgotten it.
Oh, well, he just, broke it down because I was like, well, that seems unfair. He's like, from an outsider's point, yes. He's like, but you weren't there. I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, well, son, you just have to understand that at the time, unless some of this was forced, right?
It wasn't going to happen.
There was just no way. It's just like people. I think he said something along like people had to get in, but like they had to work next to a black person to realize they weren't like fucking like Eldritchian fucking like monsters or something. It's like I get it. Okay, I get it now, but from if you just explain it from an outsider's perspective, with none of the other variables, I'm like, that's stupid. That seems completely unfair. It's like, we can make that argument now, but, it's...
You can, but, I mean, like, disparate impact's still a thing, man. So, I mean, if I, like, but see, the thing is like, it's so selective in how it's enforced. So...
It's so selective on how, not just enforced, but how it's perceived.
Well, I mean, so, like, I can go... The reason why it's selective in the terms of how it's enforced is because the target groups that should be targeted don't have the resources to make it worth targeting them. Okay? So... Yeah, so if you want to... So what I mean by disparate impact is a classic, 3/5 rule and stuff like that, where you're talking... Not the slavery one, but the other one. Where, if I build a factory in the middle of a town that's half Mexican and half white, but I employ all whites in it, that's okay. What's going on here, buddy?
I thought we categorized that under no black Sims. Like,
right? Yeah, no black Sims allowed in the neighborhood. Yeah, exactly. You got our sign deleted in Minecraft because of that. So yeah.
I didn't think anyone was paying attention. I didn't mean anything by it.
I don't think anybody actually deleted that, man. I just don't know if it lets you actually plant it.
I think that's just something that is on the verboten list.
It was definitely on the verboten list, but so anyway, so if I run a $10 million factory, I've got resources, and so the lawyers are going to come after me, right? Okay, but if I run a family restaurant. and basically force all of my children to work for me.
Yeah.
So, and refuse, and even though there's a really smart, sharp, well-appointed young black man who wants to help me with my books.
Right.
No, I'm not going to hire him because his last name isn't, Martinez, right?
Right.
So, or, like you see this in like certain industries too, where like, it's just, it's kind of, it's almost like unheard of. To hire people outside of like the people that you already have right now. So like oil fields hiring women onto that is one of those things.
Right.
Because oh my God, this is going to be a lot of trouble. So, and I saw that on the railroad too, man. So, but it's also one of those things where you go into a school. So, well, I mean, like the one that I've noticed more so than anything else is like hospitals, because I've been in hospitals lately. So, yeah, well, it's just stuff. No. So,
all right.
And like it's still exceedingly rare to see a male nurse. But
yes.
Yeah, but like who's going to lift grandma out of bed? Come on, man. So,
I mean, that's a good question.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about a field that pays exceptionally well. Okay? I mean, like stunningly well.
Correct.
So, but all the years that I've been associated with nursing programs, I've never had a male student. So, they're out there. I've seen such people. So, but
I've met some.
I've met some. Yep. So.
And, you know what? I know this is, again, it's stereotyping, but the fact is, the ones I met were gay.
I've met both.
In the nursing field.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, again, that's not to say there's inherently a connection, but there is overlap. I mean, because the argument is, and historically this has been the truth, is if guys are going that direction, they're just going to see it all the way through to doctor.
Yeah, but I mean, that like more women take the MCAT now than men do.
Get it?
The same thing with the bar exam. There's more female lawyers now than there are male lawyers. So, it's just. I mean, and so yeah, Title IX was actually important for a while there for obvious reasons. So, but
you're also talking about. You're also we can break down all of the gender disparity jobs out there.
Oh, there's tons of them.
Yeah.
You don't see too many female boiler fitters. So,
it does not sound like that. I don't know any. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I'm picturing what a boiler fitter does.
Right, yeah.
They fit boilers.
Right, yeah.
Is this shit heavy?
Oh, yeah, very.
Is it hot?
It's very hot. It's a very dirty job. So, yeah.
Just doesn't sound like a girl job.
No, it doesn't. So
girls don't work in the sewers.
The same thing's true, man. I mean, like the one thing, my daughter was tickled pink in 4th grade when she had her first male teacher.
That's what. Yeah, and especially like primary, and especially like kindergarten.
Oh Jesus Christ, dude! I taught in an education program for 4 years. I didn't see any male students who were interested in teaching elementary school.
How fucked up is that?
Hey man, I mean it just is. So and I don't know why that is, but we would talk about it in class and stuff like that, and say, hey, what's going on with this? And especially since there's so much research out there to basically show that. If you have rambunctious young kids, I saw this weird thing the other day. I don't know if it's actually true, but little boys who are between the ages of 3 and 6 have testosterone spikes that actually fucking match those of 18-year-old boys. That's
between 3 and 6.
Between 3 and 6, yes. So it is expended as energy rather than as a hormonal growth. Yeah. Oh. So I was going to ask your brother about that. Not having any boys in my family. So, but it was just amazing. But there's a lot of research out there showing that, hey, having a rambunctious young rebellious kid a male kid exposed to a male teacher who's willing to restrain
it's just
him.
like, I get you.
Yeah, I get you. Knock it off, kind of thing. Well, it's actually really important.
Either knock it off, or it's like you have the wherewithal to be like, you know what? I get why you're feeling this way. All right, everybody out. Okay, on your feet. Yeah, let's go outside for a minute.
Yeah.
Do some laps. Well, okay.
Or whatever, or
just have a male perspective.
Yeah, Timmy, you're not allowed to hit people, otherwise I'm gonna hit you.
That is, dude. That kind of shit.
If you're gonna fight someone around here, you fight me.
Yeah. Pick on someone else. Yeah. It's. I mean, look, some of that stuff. I'm not kidding. It did go on when we were kids.
Oh, it totally did. Yeah.
And again, I don't think it was necessary. Okay. I'm going to tell you something here that blew my mind politically.
Oh.
Okay. All right.
I didn't think that was possible anymore.
You're not. It's because it's something that I'm involved with now, right? Because I am taking testosterone replacement therapy. Okay. All right. They took. Let me explain some of the science on this here about what you have to go through with the process.
Okay.
Okay. So first and foremost, let's start with whatever it is. They don't know all the science of it. They don't know why people stop producing or get into the lower levels. There's no 100%.
No, there's no 100%
reason for it, but it happens, right?
Well, my understanding is a lot of it's just genetic. So
that's what some of it's genetic. Some of it, they said this. Some of it has to do with your body composition, your muscle. What they do know for sure is estrogen in the male and female body, right, does spike when when you have lower testosterone, right?
Oh yeah.
And also when the fatter you are.
I've heard that, yeah.
Okay. Now, here's what I want to lay out to you here, okay? Because this is what I have to do is after I get my shot, the next day I take a pill, right?
What does that do?
So when you increase your testosterone, okay, that also tells other systems to basically like, okay, well, we're doing hormones now, so this will actually kick up estrogen as well, right? So you take an estrogen blocker pill the next day, and that takes care of it, right? Now, the study that they did, and this fucking blew my mind, okay? This was all done with males, okay? And what they found was there is a link, I shit you not, a full-blown link with allegiance to the Democratic Party and low testosterone. And they measured this.
Yeah, I believe that.
Okay, they measured this because they would ask people these questions prior to treatment. Mm-hmm. Go in there like after 8 weeks and 16 weeks and that kind of stuff, right? And check again.
Yeah.
Right? And they would find that this pushes people further right. Now, here's the thing, okay? If you look at the political shifts that we have, okay, taking into consideration to certain things, okay? Number one, the low testosterone thing in males, but also, have we as a nation gotten fatter over time?
Yeah.
That is correct, right?
I don't know how much by, though. So.
Well, I would ask you, because this did come up the other day. All right. What percentage of American women are obese?
Half.
Not quite 40%.
Okay.
40%.
Yeah.
Okay. That's close enough to half.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Now, that's in the classification of obese.
Yeah, I'm classified as obese.
Right. Right. And so...
and I can still see my toes.
Well, and here's the thing. There's some weird stuff that goes along with that here, but the average American woman's weight is 175.
Yeah, I believe that.
Okay. The average American male's weight?
210.
200.
Yeah, okay.
Somewhere around there. Okay. And that's the thing is, I do know that people are low T, and they also are producing more estrogen.
Okay.
And when I thought about it, and when I started thinking about, like, is there a connection, basically, right, with the political division that we've had that coincides with this? And I'm like, I'll bet you if I look at this, right, I'll bet you if I plot these courses year by year, there's probably a case to be made, like, this is why our political situation is the way it is.
They've already written that book.
Level.
Two guys you need to check out, Jonathan Haidt, and the other one is Richard Reeves. They've already written that book.
What's it called?
Richard Reeves is The Trouble with Boys. It's excellent. So
no, okay, so I know that one, and I also know, you're right, I know that one. I also know, there's another one, but it's more of a comedy than anything else.
This is not a comedy. This is a hard-nosed, scientific look at basically...
But that one, isn't that one also a little bit more about, basically, like, demonization of traditional, like, male values?
I don't think so.
Or am I thinking of the wrong book? Because I swear that one was more about, like... Is it pure biology? Because I thought that one was also about, like, how the past 40 years has basically been a way to say, like, only one gender's attributes.
No, that's...
This is a different book, then.
That's a different book, yeah.
All right. Okay.
No. Richard Reeves' book is The Trouble with Boys. I think that's what it's called. There's another book out there called The Trouble with Black Boys. That's much more academic, but
I did not read that one.
That one's absolutely excellent. Okay. So, but it's probably like 15 years old now, okay. So it's probably not as relevant as it used to be. But that's the one that basically made an argument that it's absolutely critical that young black boys get in front of a male presence in school as early as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, so no. Yeah, Richard Reeves' argument is more so along the lines of, well, Jonathan Haidt's the guy. He's the guy who does a little bit more of the higher level stuff, and he's a professional psychologist by training. So, and he's the one who basically says there's two different ethics, and the ethics are reorganizing the party. So it's the mom party and the dad party. Okay.
Right.
So he's been saying that for 10 fucking years now.
Right.
So yeah, now Richard Reeves, I just saw him again the other day. He does book. I think his book's like 2 years old now.
And
So,
is it based on that same thing, that testosterone?
part of it is based upon testosterone. It's based upon diet, and then the other piece of it is definitely based upon like reinforcing stereotypes in schools, in particular.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he says that's been going on for 10 years, and now we're reaping the rewards of it, whatever you want to call those rewards. Benefits, not so much, things like that. But and he's the one who's been going around there saying he's like, the Democrats don't have any kind of problem other than the fact that it's not a male party anymore. So you can't point to too many people in the party who actually, fucking James Carville said the same thing. He's like, Democrats don't have a middle problem, they have a male problem. So, but he's been saying that for 3 or 4 years too. So, but the actual scientific links between testosterone and, political division, there's some argument about whether or not that's actually accurately measured based upon the idea that you might be measuring political division or you might just be measuring educational achievement. So in there, because men are rapidly dropping out of any form of grad school that exists. So, like across the board.
This is a tough one.
So, even like they always say, STEM is a place for a lot of... No, they don't. They don't anymore because they don't make it there. So they just don't get the math education that they need in order to be successful. They don't get into college, because why the fuck would I spend money on that? So, there's a lot of reasons for that. So,
man, and look, if the nature of this is essentially that we basically are regressing to this is what we expect Fred and Barney to do, where these guys are rock crushers, right? That is what it is. And we need guys out here like it, and we're going to pay you to do it.
The guys will go wherever the money goes.
That's correct.
That has always been, that is historically true because men still like to be breadwinners. So by and large, I
don't think you can change that.
I don't think so either. And there's a lot of evidence to actually support that out there. But, there's like no reason to actually like divide the world in that way if it's going to self-divide on its own. So, and that's why I was reading a bunch of shit about like realignments of the political parties the other day. The Republican Party is basically becoming the unprofessional labor party. So that has nothing to do with unions. So it will be Fred and Barney in 5 years, and like just like before. You're like Dick Cheney came out the other day,
dude.
And I saw so many people.
Fucking shit I've
dude,
seen
I think
in my life.
I don't think it's funny. I think it's telling. So it's telling where the Democrats are going to be the professional party in the future. So which means that you're going to have a couple weirdo Republican lawyers and stuff like that. But other than that, it's just going to be fucking Tucker Carlsons and rock crushers. So, and they're not going to carry elections with that. So, in the future. So the question is, where do they grow? Obviously, they've been growing, by appealing to, a lot broader of a coalition than they used to have. So, but at the expense of the business class and the national security dudes. So... they're going to go Democrat. It'll take them 5 years, 10 years, but they will. And Dick Cheney's a harbinger of that, man. So,
dude, there's no version of this where, okay, you and I were there. Okay, yeah. You and I were there when the left at the time basically did everything that they could to strawman this person into the literal devil.
Oh, yeah, and a lot of people bought that. So,
and
forgetting how fucking popular he was in 2003. So,
and this is the thing.
We got an adult in the room at least. Because Junior was Junior, man.
He was. Yeah. He was. And, to his credit.
God, and he looks it, too. If you look at his 9/11 pictures, holy shit, dude.
Oh, who, Bush?
Yeah.
Yeah. Little Junior. Yeah. Fucking little bigger boy. Yeah. It's. And to his credit, I liked his perspective. He's just like, I'm not going to endorse anybody. He's like, I'm not going to...
Who said that?
Junior.
Oh, yeah. No, he's just like his daddy. So
And so the thing is so Harris is like, I might even invite some Republicans into my cabinet. Of course,
yeah,
the one is...
she won't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
everybody knows that.
Well, there was one.
Who?
Cheney's daughter.
Oh, she's not even Republican anymore.
No.
So,
I technically, she's an independent, but
she belongs to the Liberty Party or some bullshit like that.
fucking,
Yeah.
yeah.
Throw your vote away.
All I know is in her primary, she lost 2-1.
She got crushed.
Yeah, destroyed.
Yeah.
So
it's because Wyoming's one of the lowest educated states in the nation.
Wyoming does what Wyoming does. All right,
It crushes rocks.
It crushes rocks, man. Fucking, and as long as the rock crushing money is coming in, that's what you get.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, but I mean, they're going to have a lot more authority in the future with that too, because there's going to be a lot of economic development in that direction. So,
Yes.
I mean, it's really hard to find someone who can fix your fence right now.
That is correct.
Yeah, and it's going to be, I mean, like, there's a couple other fields too that are just, they're dying for people. So automotive is huge.
Yes.
So right now, you know, because cars are fucking expensive, and so I'd rather fix my car. It's like, well, it's going to cost a lot of money to fix your car. It's like, never mind, I'll trade my car. Get a new one. So, a lot of different things like that. But,
well, and this is something.
Dick Cheney doesn't surprise. It doesn't surprise me at all that Dick Cheney wouldn't support, Harris, because Harris, if she does get elected, she's going to pull in some of his buddies.
Well, that's the argument, is that it's basically neocons by a different name.
I mean, neocon's kind of a misnomer, man. It's just you're talking about establishment versus anti-establishment, and the establishment got forced out of the Republican Party. So they found a great home at the other one because they brought a lot of money with them.
That's basically it. It's yeah.
Fucking Mitt Romney would be a Democrat right now if he had to do it all over again. So that guy runs Bain Capital. People forget about that. That guy is a billionaire. So yeah. So and. He's
well. You got to remember, he was a Republican by Massachusetts standards.
Exactly. He was pretty blue. He was pretty purple as it was. I mean, Obama basically copied Romney Care and turned it into Obamacare. Yeah. And then when he called him out on it in 2012, I was like, no, it was always known as Obamacare. This was my idea not to tax tips.
This is so stupid. This is. It's weird because there has to be a realigning, and I mean, again, you and I have talked about this. There are certain untenable things that you idiots have lumped into your parties, and it's weird that you cannot go to a Democrat event without being accosted by other outside Democrats.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's the thing is no matter how much they tried to gussy this up and say like, maybe I should. It's like, as much as it would make sense to my campaign, right? You fit everything I want, but your last name is Shapiro. I can't do that right now.
I can't do it right now.
I can't do it right now.
I've seen some really good polling out there. It's coming out of Pennsylvania. That is actually a really stupid move. So
skipping on him?
That was a really bad move. So because they go through there and they've actually done some like post hoc polling on that, and that might have cost her about 10 to 12 points in that state. That's not showing up in the polls. We'll find out.
So the war right now is against the persona non gratis right now that they don't like is Nate Silver.
Well, Nate Silver knows. Yeah, I mean, he's been persona non grata for a little while since he turned tail and actually sold 538. So I decided, well, fuck you guys, I'm going to go play poker for a living.
Right.
So, and then just like the last 3 to 4 months, he was on Ezra Klein's podcast like maybe 2 months ago where he's like, yeah, Democrats are going to win. And then he came around the other day and said, no, they're going to lose. He might be right. But he also got involved in a Twitter feud with this freaking crazy dude.
Which crazy dude?
The guy who's got that. Yeah, you've probably seen this. He's got this presidential predictor model that has predicted like the last 20 elections, with the exception of 2016. So, he's a political science guy somewhere who comes out with this stuff, and then he got in a Twitter feud with Nate Silver, and Nate Silver called him a hack, and then he called Nate Silver like an accountant or something like that.
Right.
And so I don't know how much Nate Silver actually buys that shit, or if he's just like, oh, well, that guy said Harris, so I'm going to say Trump. I don't know. So
everything that I'm seeing is basically his predictions are just going state by state, and that's the thing is
he did that in 2016 and said Donald Trump had a better chance of playing in the NBA to becoming president. So I don't know how much stock.
Bro, look, and that's the thing is as we discussed when it came down to it was what people said was not what they did when they got in the booth.
Correct.
Right, and. Here's the thing. I don't think there's as much of that going on right now because I don't think there's as many people that would be like, I'm not going to say it. Because, look.
There might be in Pennsylvania. So
might be in Pennsylvania, but there are plenty of places in Pennsylvania. All right. Again, this is just part of the state that you're in. What part of Pennsylvania that you're in. Because there's plenty of parts of Pennsylvania where you wouldn't hesitate to say, like, I'm a Trump guy. Right?
Every part except for Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Yeah.
There you go.
So,
and so how many of those people... You know what? You're right. It's those... How many people in those places...
In those two places are actually...
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're 100% right. Yeah. Because, in 2016, they said what they were going to do, and then as soon as they pulled the curtain, they just, like, kind of, like... They snickered like Muttley and pressed the Trump button. Because they were sick of it. They all it was that every single person that was like... fucking, like, I'm sick of, like, talking about fucking bathrooms. I'm sick of talking. Like, that's... Whatever it was that you wanted to protest was that guy.
Yeah. Those guys are going to be homeless in the next 3 to 4 years. So...
I think there's going to be a lot of people homeless. Because, again, you have to... Again, the Democrats have to cut bait with Jews or Palestinians.
They'll keep the Jews.
Will they?
Yeah, they will. It's like the greater realignment, man. I mean, I don't know. I read about this a little bit more than I probably should, but,
Okay.
It's if you look across all of American history, you have two parties. You always have two parties. Sometimes you have a little third one that starts up, but that just means one of the other two wins. Big. So...
Well...
Every single time. So that's how we got fucking Woodrow Wilson as president, man.
How do you count? So, I know you're right, but how do you classify, like Germany? How do you classify those places that do have...
They have a completely different system. They have a parliamentary system.
Yeah.
It makes sense to have multiple parties in a parliamentary system because you have to build coalitions because whoever builds the largest coalition gets to pick who the fucking prime minister is.
Right.
The people don't pick the prime minister. The people pick who goes to parliament for them. Okay? And so it makes sense to have multiple because you have to, it's not just limited by district and stuff like that. You also have to, take a look at the constituency with that district, see how most people feel there. And since you're doing it at that micro of a level, you'll inevitably have multiple parties.
So here's my question. Is that kind of like little versions into big two parties, or is it...
Kind of, because they have to actually get a majority in order to actually...
That's what I'm saying. Is it two parties under just a different name?
It can be. But sometimes it's like one big party and two medium-sized ones. So, that happens.
Fair enough.
You got to understand that Hitler was elected with less than 30% of the vote.
Yeah.
So, and that was a parliamentarian system. So a parliamentary system doesn't work in this country because it's too fucking big and it's not built that way. So
right.
So we always have two parties, and your two parties can roughly be defined as this:
yes,
people versus money. Always, every last cycle. And so the money is...
Wow, okay.
The money has figured out that blue party is its home. So, because red party does not like money that isn't tied to one guy, apparently. So,
that's funny. Yeah, it's funny you say that, because, it used to be the other way around.
Yeah, and so it makes perfect sense that oil baron Mr. Halliburton, Dick Cheney himself, is endorsing, Harris. Mitt Romney will probably vote for her. Mark Cuban's definitely going to vote for her. Elon Musk won't, but he's not really American. So, he is, but...
Well...
I mean...
Excuse me. All right. Elon Musk is a weird guy.
He is a very weird guy.
There's no two ways around it. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I...
Koch brothers are dying.
Well,
so one of them's already dead.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So it's yeah.
Well, you know, here was the other one was Zuckerberg kind of took a right turn.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is some of that. That you're taking two boons out of big tech and saying like these are.
Big tech isn't the big deal that people think it is. So, you know,
Well,
it defines a lot of things like culturally and stuff like that. But in terms of like actual money on Capitol Hill, it's not that big a deal.
No, but its sphere of influence is bigger than the actual money that goes into
That's
it.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So that's because this is. Pat, this is the shit that kind of gets me here. And yeah, you're right. You made a brilliant point here, and frankly, these things collaborate exceptionally well. It actually answers a lot of my questions because there are certain things where I look at this and say, like, wait a second, if you're supposed to be this party, then how did Google and Apple, you know, and Amazon basically become bigger and bigger and bigger when theoretically, consumer-wise, as far as the party that you represent, you guys should have been splitting these dudes apart a long time ago.
Oh, they won't do that.
But they won't. Right.
No, of course not, because they write them checks.
Exactly.
Yeah. No.
Exactly. And, but you're the party that says you would, but you don't.
And that started back in the 90s with Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton is the harbinger of all of this, man. So, you know, because he was the guy who said, well, we need to shift, all right, because otherwise we're not going to win. So it's like we need to embrace things like, you know, fucking free trade computers and yeah. And stuff like that. And so that represents a shift. That is very different than Tip O'Neill and fucking LBJ. I mean, come on, dude. So, let alone Carter in there. They're completely different than those guys.
Yeah, fucking Luddites. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that was a different Democrat Party. That was actually a party of the people in many ways. So, yeah, you know. And now, like, and then, you know, eventually you realize that you got to be, like, money doesn't carry elections. Votes do. So, you know, money can protect itself, but it can't win in the long run. It never has. It's always votes that actually matter.
2016 proved that. Yeah,
absolutely. Much to my surprise, man. But it was like, oh fuck, yeah, actually, like, what, double that he did? Did he even spend all of it? He still won. So you know, and yeah, that's why, like, you know, when I see them, you know, oh, fundraising for Harris, blah blah blah. It's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter, man. I mean, you know, like, she can raise $10 billion, so it won't fucking matter in the long run. It's whether or not she can actually get votes, and a lot of that depends on Tuesday, man. So
yes,
Tuesday will be the time where a lot of people who haven't seen her before will see her, and so because I don't care what they were saying about their ratings for the DNC, it sucked. So nobody watched it. So the clips are terrible.
All right, I'll say this. The people that watched it, not a single one had their needle moved. They watched it because they believed in the product. That they were going to say it's the most awesome thing anyway.
Or they were waiting for her to, you know, trip. So
I look, I think that the second that she came out, they had their buy-in. Okay? There was like 1 week of potential, like, this is the time to get stabby, and they didn't stab.
No, they didn't do no stabbing.
Because they could have raised a fucking, like, that would have been the time to do it, but they fell in line super quick. They took back everything they said about her. They flipped around and said...
Oh, you mean the party?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought you were talking about the viewers. So.
Oh, no. This is the tricky thing. Because, yeah, at this moment, that would have been the time that if you were...
read that book someday.
It's going to be shameful.
It's going to be really shameful, man. And I hope there was a really good author taking notes, you know, when they started sharpening the Joe Biden knives.
I don't know who is in the room that heard every last, you know, word, but that's the person I want to hear.
I want to hear that book.
And that guy can't talk right now.
No, he can't because the knives are still out.
Correct.
Shing, shing. Although, like, Joe has not been sitting on the beach. So,
Yeah, he has.
no, he hasn't. He did 4 campaign events for her last week, which is more than anybody else in her campaign.
But that doesn't mean he wasn't sitting on the beach.
He might have been on the beach.
He went from the beach to those things.
But he did go to the things, and I did not think he was going to do any of the things. But he did 4 of them last week, which more than Tim Walz did. So
I think Tim Walz has recognized that Tim Walz does more damage to the image.
I saw a great political cartoon. So with Harris and Dana Bash, sitting at each other like they were in the thing, and then Tim Walz is in a lifeguard chair.
Yeah,
that one was great, man.
Fucking dead people over there. Yeah.
That one was great.
No,
so many political cartoons are so dumb, but that one was just like, you nailed it, buddy.
Look, the truth is, you're right. They are mostly dumb. I will admit that I still have a particular love, and I always will, for those people who do political cartoons well. There's something to the art style that I find so distinctly American.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That I think it's you'll never get rid of this. But
you see, the overseas ones are so bad. You can
they're
tell,
stupid.
You can tell instantaneously that this one came from London or France or something, or Russia.
Dude, even Russia. Nothing. So I made this argument a long time ago, and I'm gonna make it again now. This is when I talk about like the art style differences between The Simpsons and Family Guy. Right? The difference is The Simpsons art team, even within the restrictions of The Simpsons anatomical universe, would take celebrities and still make them Simpson-esque. Right?
Yes.
They would make them look like that within the universe. In Family Guy, their template is so pared down that whenever somebody shows up on there, the first thing they have to do is announce who they are.
Right, yeah.
And the same thing...
Are you Gene Kelly?
And the same thing applies to European political cartoons, where it's... European political cartoons are basically, it's like when you were 12 and got your first label maker, and everything in your...
Knife, spoon, fork, napkin. This is Jeff.
And, if there's a suitcase, it is labeled American Work Ethic. If you've got If you've got a cat, it's labeled like, not just cat, it's going to be labeled like justice. It's like everything...
Poverty cat.
There's going to be like a smoke cloud. It'll be labeled racism. You know what it is? No, actually, it'd be called like the specter of slavery.
Right.
This
slavery.
is at least good artists, man. This is where you go back to the dudes who were so good at this. Like, I know Reagan when I see him. I know, right? I know Bill Clinton when I see him. The pros of this were absolutely like the people who would go on to do stuff like in Mad Magazine, right?
Oh yeah,
they were artistic geniuses.
God, I used to have a Mad Magazine. I wish I had saved it. It actually had both Jaws and Patriot Games done in it. They were beautiful, dude.
What?
Well, they do the parodies of the movies.
Yeah.
It had 2 of them in there. One was of Jaws.
Yeah.
And the other one was of Patriot Games. And so you had, like, the Jaws crew, but then you had this really good Harrison Ford one.
Okay.
It was excellent, man. I wish I had saved that one.
Those guys, I'm telling you, there's just like a skill in that's lost.
Yeah.
It's lost.
Yeah, it's gone. It's okay. AI can generate it soon.
Pat, I've been working on one. I haven't because it's there's this. I think I've got the picture together right now, but I haven't decided on all the captions on it because it's this fat bearded guy at his desk, and he's got like action figures on it and all that other stuff. Okay, and I want him to be saying all of those things that we say. So, like urban hydroponics and and
walkable cities,
walkable city, 15 minutes. I want him to be saying everything of our verboten phrases.
Oh my God! Yeah.
For the purpose of saying
reckoning.
The person that you just argued with for the last 6 hours is this guy.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Oh. I always kind of vision the South Park WoW guy. So
That's a real person.
I know it's a real person, yeah. So I saw the picture of him. He was quite flattered by it.
That's what's amazing about
it.
it.
Yeah. So, and he actually did work for Blizzard. So,
you know what's cool about those guys? Those Parker and Stone.
Mm-hmm.
They already said, like, no matter how this election turns out,
yeah,
we will not be doing any more Trump stuff because we literally play. There's nothing we can add to this.
Yeah, we can't make it up. Yeah, they said that a while ago, and then people were banging on them again. I saw that this week, and they're like, you know what, fuck you.
So, they were saying, oh, okay, so this is when you have a platform, you're obligated. It's like you're not obligated to do anything. Nor is all art political.
You are not obligated to listen either. And so yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that today, actually. So, yeah, good for them, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, they're like they've always been a kind of a breed apart. So, but and their shtick with Garrison being Trump, it had its moments. So fuck them all to death was actually pretty funny. So,
what else are you gonna say?
Yeah, exactly.
But what else are you gonna add to that?
But then they did, and I saw an interview with him after that. It was like, we totally did not expect him to win.
That was the
so we already had half the next season written. So yeah,
I saw footage of those guys. Basically, like after because we talked about that, they're like lock-in sessions.
Oh yeah,
and I saw a video of those guys like after they were done.
Yeah,
and they both looked like they'd been through World War I and II.
Wow, yeah.
They just look, they're tired, like their clothes are fucked up. Like it's like you can see like their collars are all bent out of shape and shit. They're like, God damn, man.
Yeah.
And I guess like for what they do and for that schedule they keep for what they're doing to actually stay like to have a topical point and have it come out then instead of 9 months after the fact like most other shows do, because if you're talking about like production stuff, it is what it is.
They don't really do that anymore. So
well, I guess they're sort of going through like a creative they're trying to go through like a creative retooling, because I guess they said something about,
I thought it had to do with Paramount.
Maybe, but the thing that those guys were saying was that they'd taken the show in sort of a direction that they thought sort of like walked them into a corner. And I can totally feel
Integrity Farms,
yeah, that's that kind of thing, yeah. So we've been trying to actually undo that, open that up, and how difficult is that be to walk yourself into a corner and then walk yourself out of it without basically saying, actually, what we're going to do is we're going to restart this and call this the new South. This is South Park #1.
Simpsons 2.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Simpsons did it. Yeah, no.
I saw one other horrible. This is the last thing that I'll mention today.
Okay.
I saw something that I didn't know was a thing, and I've never wanted anything less in my life.
What is that?
There's a Minecraft movie.
Oh, with Jack Black.
I've never seen anything I've wanted less in my life.
Man, I saw the sheep and I was like, what the fuck is that?
See, that in itself could be funny.
I don't know, man. It was like horrifying. So, yeah, I can't think of anything else that I would like less either. And let alone have Jack Black in it, man. But he had his moments, man. But now it's like
25 years ago.
I know, yeah.
So your audience is like the kids that you want to occupy for 2 hours, but also you're an adult who is perfectly willing to let yourself be irritated by Jack Black's outdated shtick.
I know, I can't do it anymore.
Like, why would you do this? Why would you do that as a movie producer? It's like, I got an idea.
My understanding was that there was actually a pretty decent animated one in the works, and they got shit canned.
Really?
So yeah, and so then they sold off the property or something, and then they were like, well, it's just some like, fucking evil South Park character, who owns a movie studio. just gets, like a property and decides to fuck it to death. So I don't know, man. Yeah,
so you saw that too?
I
huh?
saw that too.
Oh.
Yeah, I actually saw an ad for it on the normal TV. I was like,
How dare you?
yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. I was like, what the fuck is that? I was like, is that real? So, and apparently it is actually real. So, it's just, all right, man. Movies just, there's nothing. There's nothing, Jeff. I mean, it's like you go to the Golden Corral and you look at the buffet and there's nothing left. There's like fucking, fruit salad and, like a chicken nugget. And you're just like, never mind.
No, it's
leaving.
you're not wrong. Okay, so it's out. You have to look out there for things that are so off your own beaten path, because at this point, every last one of the properties that theoretically belong to us has been like raped into full trauma. Like it's unrecognizable.
Dude, I still have Star Wars PTSD.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Every last property that we enjoyed, right?
And right now they're in the middle of doing the second Rings of Power thing, man. And I just didn't like.
You take that shit personally too.
I don't really take it personally. It's like how dare you expect me to watch this? I can't do it. You guys got to chase me, man. So, and then the same thing with other movies too. I mean, like
they actually said you will be the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
He said
like,
the thing.
Yeah, I can't do it, man. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, they actually did say that. And no, it doesn't offend me, but it's like, do better. Try something else, I mean, like, I hear you about you have to go way off I don't go off fucking beaten paths. I drive the interstate, Jeff.
Yeah.
So if I don't see something that I want to stop for, I ain't stopping.
All right. No, that's fine. That's fine. No, you're right. I've taken this RV off-roading, looking for new material. Yeah.
So, no, man.
I get it. I understand. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
All it is Denny's. I'm not stopping. I already know about your waffles.
Oh god,
Yeah.
you get to a certain point and it's Tim Hortons and it's
It's like overrated coffee. Come on. So
yeah, you're not
convince
wrong.
me to pull off. So otherwise, I'm going.
There you go. All right, that's
we're getting to Jersey on time for Christmas.
All right, punch it, dude.
All right, man.
All right.
I'm Pat.
Yeah, I'm Jeffrey.
Punching it.
Yeah.